Now this is another test, and in this test there's another type of question. Can you see what is the writer's main point in the first paragraph? So this question is
Okay.
easy to answer. Why? Because you exactly know where your answer is. You have to read the first paragraph. Right? Similarly, if you see what public view about artists was shared by the French and the English. Now, for this, you don't know the paragraph. But if you see question number 29, what does the writer mean in line 59 by the handwriting on the wall? And if you see in the passage, they generally mark that number. Can you see this line 59 here?
Mm. Yeah.
Okay. So now these questions are easier to locate. Actually, its answers are easier to locate. Right?
Okay.
So please use these strategies. Sorry, if you get stuck. Okay. Now let's move to
Okay.
our next question. Oh, sorry, next lecture. Where is it? Okay, it was here. Now, to answer multiple choice questions, you often need to carefully read two or more connected sentences or several connected sentences. Actually, why is it so? Some multiple choice questions begin with a direct question and then have four possible answers. Like if I say, what is the writer's meaning in line 59? And then there are four multiple options or four options for you. And you have to choose any one of them. This is one type of multiple choice question in which you will be asked a direct question. There's another type of multiple choice questions in which a sentence, an incomplete sentence would be written, and you will be given options and you have to choose one of these options as sentence, one of the endings to complete this sentence.
Okay.
Clear? So this is
Okay.
these are two type of multiple choice questions. There's another multiple type question. There's another type of multiple choice questions, and the type is you are asked, given one question, and then that question asks you which two of the following are correct, A, B, C, D. In that case, you will find 5 to 6 choices. Okay, and two of them would be correct.
Right. Okay.
Now, before this, there will be a question would be written like question number 36 and 37. Question number 36 and 37. That means on your answer booklet, you would write the two answers here. Like if this is B, this is D, and this is C, and this is A, whatever. In that case, you would write like question number 37, you may write B. And for question number 38, 37, you would write D. Okay? Even if you write D here and B here, even then it's correct. Sequence doesn't matter.
Okay.
These are two separate questions, and you have to write answers to these questions. You may write in any order. Is that clear? Now,
Yes, sir.
again, as I told you, remember, in one type of multiple choice questions, you are asked a direct question, and then there are four possible answers. In other multiple choice questions, a half or incomplete sentence is given, and then four possible endings are written here, and you have to choose one of these. But there's another set of multiple choice questions in which there are two questions, and you are asked which two of the following, relate or whatever. Clear?
Okay.
Yes.
Now, read the extract from a passage quickly to find out the main points, and then, okay, fine. I want you guys to read this passage, and I'm telling you, I'm betting you actually, you will not understand it.
Okay.
Words are very simple, but meaning is very complex.
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm giving you 2 minutes for this. Please read it.
Okay.
Oh.
So, did you get it? No? Shocked? There's no difficult word here, right? Do you agree?
Yes. And
But what does this passage says?
very- it shows some repetition of concepts
Mhm. Some repetition of?
of concepts about ability to understand,
Yeah.
to discriminate or to differentiate letters.
Okay. Is it
And
is it your area, Abdurrahman?
hmm?
Is it your area of work or you study? No,
No.
no, not at all. Okay. Right. So now you are actually doing wet studies, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
Now, right now, I'll not explain it. I want you guys to use your kidneys to think it. Okay. Without looking at the
Okay.
text, try to explain what it is about. So okay, try to explain it. That's fine. Look at the question below and choose the best answer A to D. What is the question? According to the paragraph, what point do linguistics have different views on? What is your answer? Please tell me.
For me, I believe it's A.
Okay. What point do linguistics have different views on? Okay. Abdurrahman is saying A. What about the other doctor?
Sir, wait a second.
Yeah, sure. Okay, second is over. Actually, this is I didn't mind it. Remember, I just want to correct you. This is kind of a rude response, right?
Oh, sir,
No, no,
sorry.
no, no. Please,
Actually,
no, no, no. I know. I'm just trying to improve your language.
okay,
Right?
okay, sir.
Okay. That an appropriate way of saying it is, so please give me a minute, or so could you please
Okay,
wait for a minute, please, and let me read it, right?
okay. Sir, please give me a minute.
Yeah, sure. Take it. What is method of elimination? Do you
Sir,
know
A
method?
is wrong.
Okay, is wrong. Wow.
I am confused between B and C.
Okay, can you tell me method of elimination? Any
Method
idea?
of elimination.
In method of elimination, what we do, we just eliminate the wrong answers, which are for sure wrong. In this
Okay.
passage, was there anything about writing, or
No,
was this
sir.
whole passage about reading?
Hmm. Okay, so C.
So B is crossed out. Now, similarly, read and write. D is crossed out.
Hmm. Okay.
Now, A or C? One is
Sir,
saying
A
A.
is wrong.
Okay, why wrong?
Sir, they didn't mention the like intelligence of animal. They just mention, you can say, they compare animal from the human. Like, but A is wrong. I am damn sure.
Okay,
I can't explain to you.
because Abduram answered that, right? Actually, you
No,
are right.
sir.
No, no, actually, you're right. No, actually, you're right.
They said
And
a monkey are able to tell the difference between sequence, but they can't understand the meaning of the words.
okay, okay,
So
okay,
that was
okay.
the
Now,
intelligence.
let
I
me first read this question, right? Sorry, let me
Okay.
okay.
tell you.
The
Your
passage.
focus should be that on which point the linguistics have two different views.
Okay.
That is your focus. Those views
Mm.
could might be mentioned, like both of these views can be mentioned in the passage, but
Okay.
question is asking you to point out only that point, sorry, to find only that point on which linguistics have different view. Okay,
Okay.
now
Okay.
linguistics agree that language is needed during reading.
Okay.
This is the point of agreement, that is for sure. So this cannot
Okay.
be our answer. Okay, we have to find on which point linguistics disagree. Okay, and that is, but at which stage language becomes a necessity has come under debate. That means this is a point that at what stage language becomes a necessity. This is a point on which there is some
Okay.
difference of opinion,
Okay.
right? So now if you see option C, it says when our language ability begins to affect reading ability. That means when it becomes necessary to know the language. Actually, for this, you need to understand the whole passage. Only this single line will not be enough to give you the whole meaning.
Okay.
Uh, just a minute, please. Sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, okay. I've got some disturbance here. Now, linguistic agree that language, okay, this was the point. Now, let me explain this point to you. Well, if someone wants to read, it means they need to know the language as well. Clear? Is that clear?
Yeah.
This is a point of agreement. Everybody agrees on that. But when do you need language to read? When language become a compulsory thing for reading, that is a point of debate. For example, let me show you. You may not understand this language, okay? Because this is my own language that I'm creating right now.
Okay.
Okay. Now, can you differentiate that these are like this and this one is the same word?
Yes, sir.
This and this is same.
Hmm.
This and this is same. These two are different words, this one and this one. So
Yes.
still we could differentiate Okay, and if I say, if you don't know these these are some alphabet, let's say these are some alphabets of a language. Okay, this is not 5. Okay, make it like that. Now this is one word, and there's another word in which the sequence is different. Okay, rest everything is almost same, but now can you see that these are two different words? Got it?
Yes, sir.
So you can see that these are different words, but you can't understand it unless you know this language.
Okay.
Okay, so at this point, if you only want to differentiate between the words, then you don't need language. But if you really want to understand, then you require to know this language. Okay,
Yes,
so
completely.
at this is the point where some think that you require language, but there are others who think that you may not even understand what is, what are these alphabets. So you require to know the language even right from the beginning. So these are different views, that at what stage, at what point language becomes a necessity. You see?
Sir, excuse me.
Yeah, sure.
I think you have problem on your microphone. When you speak, it's okay, but when you stop speaking, it has some confusion. Like,
Okay, it's not with me, I guess. Let let me mute doctor, and then is it okay now?
yes, this is my doctor, maybe.
Yeah, it was from doctor's side, right? Doctor, whenever you want to speak now, you have to unmute. Okay, now if you see, uh, some things that, well, even if you have to understand or you have to differentiate between these two words, you should know the language. But others think that, well, you don't need to know the language to differentiate between these words. But if you want to uh, know the meaning, only then that is the stage, or that is the point where you would require to know the language. So there's a different view about, of different people about this thing, that at what stage or at what point language becomes a necessity. Now, is that clear to you guys?
Yes.
Okay, I hope, doctor, that's clear. You can unmute and you can tell us, and then mute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, past research has shown that animals have the ability to discriminate letters from one another. Like in previous researches, they could differentiate, okay, this is B and this is A. Okay.
Okay.
So this was first study. But previously, experts thought that the ability to recognize written words was dependent on an ability to understand language. Okay. Previously,
Okay.
researchers only thought that, well, animals can discriminate between different letters. And according to them, they thought that, well, if that is only about letters, not about words, but if we, want animals to recognize written words, then they must know the language as well. But
Okay.
findings recently published in this journal challenge this long held notion. The findings of this recent study, it has challenged this view that you
Okay.
need to know the language to understand or recognize different words. And this research study showed that despite having no linguistic skills, monkeys are able to tell, like monkeys don't know English, right? But still,
Yes.
they are able to tell the difference between sequence of letters that form real English words. Like if I say FROM, okay? and then FORM, and then if I write FMRO, now monkeys could differentiate, well, this sequence is a real English letter, this sequence is a real English letter, but this is not a real English letter. This sequence of
Okay.
alphabet doesn't make any word. Obviously, there must be, some background to it, that they might have taught something to monkeys who took part in this study. But this was the finding of this study, right?
Okay.
So now let's move forward. I spent some time to make you understand the way of reading and try to understand what is written. Although there was no difficult word in that passage, but the meaning was complex, isn't it?
Yes.
Try to use your
Yes.
imagination at that point. Okay. Different types of multiple choice questions. Sometimes you may be asked to choose two correct answers. I have already covered among 5 options. To answer these kind of questions, you will need to read and consider even more text, because now you have to answer 2 questions. Okay?
Okay.
Like if you read this passage, I'm giving you 5 minutes for that. Actually, I need to take a break. So I'm giving you 5 minutes for that. I'll just mute it and you may read it and then we'll continue. Okay? Thank you. Okay, guys, are you done? Or shall I
Yes,
wait?
sir.
Okay. So now let's move forward and see which question is waiting for us. Sorry. Read the questions below and decide what information you need to find in the passage. Sorry. Which two possible issues did Miller believe may have caused the rise in dolphin numbers?
Doctor, Doctor, mute. Or mute. I mean mute.
Mute, okay, Dr. Mute. There's some
Oh,
noise
okay,
going
sorry.
to Abdurrahman. Okay, can you find the answers? You can unmute to answer. Which two possible issues did Miller believe may have caused the rise in dolphin numbers?
One is B,
Okay,
and the other one is I think it's E.
E, okay.
E and E, B
B,
and E.
B and E, okay. What about you, doctor? No answer? Doctor, are you there?
Okay, yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, what are the answers?
Okay, so B
Mm-hmm.
and C,
C?
yes.
Okay, where it is written the dolphins had access to greater number of shrimp and fish. That's not written, right? Actually,
Yes,
it is
sir.
very clearly mentioned here that by itself, this didn't seem to adequately explain the increase. Like this means the reason B. This only in itself, this didn't seem to adequately explain the increase in dolphin calls. Something else was going on. That means another reason was there. And that something else was distinctively human. And this whole paragraph tells that they had less contact with humans. You know, generally speaking, it is assumed, actually, this was my assumption as well before I read this passage, because I have seen dolphins, you know, running and jumping alongside my ship many times in the sea. So, you know, I used to think that, well, they just enjoy. But here in the passage, it says that, well, this is not the correct notion. They actually just run here and there to, uh, to run away from the ships to save themselves. Okay, so you know most
Okay.
of the time when there's more shipping in at sea, they keep running from one place to another to save to stay safe from the ships. But once there were very little fishing and shipping at sea, because of that, they get ample time to, eat and breed. Clear? So that means they had little contact with humans, and that actually helped to increase in their number. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Abdurrahman, your answer is correct. Well done. Okay, now, okay, this is the same exercise, B and D. Identifying a writer's purpose. Sometimes multiple choice questions ask you to consider the writer's purpose or aim. If you remember, I showed you one question like sometimes back, and in which that question asks you, what does the writer mean by, what did the writer mean, or what does the writer mean by so and so word in line 59? Do you know that? Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, there was a passage in which he said that, okay, what was the overall purpose of paragraph A? So
Yes.
sometimes multiple questions ask you to consider the writer's purpose or aim. You may be asked to identify why the writers made a particular reference. Like this is the same example I told you, that what does writer mean by the word writing on the wall? So why did he said that? Say that. Why he used this word? Okay, so you
Okay.
can be asked like that, or what the purpose of a part of text is. Like again, similar thing. Then the opinion or attitude of the writer, and we have already covered this opinion and attitude thing, in which there was a question about changing diet, and in which the question asked you, what is the writer uh, or what was the writer's attitude in this, and there was, he was excited about change in diet, he was worried about it, or he just gave a neutral account of some study. I hope you remember that.
Yes.
Okay, even if you don't know, you say yes, sir. In these questions, you need to consider more than the surface meaning of the words, and you have just seen that the surface meaning was quite different. Like in the previous exercise, we talked about the languages and everything. Surface meaning was very simple, but actually, once we went into depth, we actually realized that, oh my God, this is quite, it had quite different meaning. Okay. Now, looking at the following extract from the reading passage to get the main idea, and then reread it. Okay, first read it. You have 30 seconds for that. Okay, let me read it with you. One of the reasons Jurassic Park was so successful as a novel and as a blockbuster film is that it presented a plausible way to bring dinosaur back to life. The idea that the idea that viable dinosaur DNA might be retrieved from blood-sucking prehistoric insects seemed like a project that could actually succeed. Even though the actual methodology is hopelessly flawed and would never work, the premise was scientific enough to let us suspend our disbelief and revel in the return of the dinosaurs. You may read it once more. Done?
No. Still.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay. From my side.
Okay. Right, doctor, done?
It's done.
Okay, fine. Now, what is the writer's purpose in this paragraph? Just forget it for the time being, because I will give you some options and then you will tell me what is writer's purpose, right? In the next slide, I will tell you uh, I'll give you some options for this question. What is the writer's opinion of Jurassic Park? Again, we'll talk on this. But can you tell me, this blockbuster word gives you a positive notion or negative notion? Saying a movie and novel or a movie as blockbuster, is it a good thing or bad thing?
That
Blockbuster means
block.
super hit movie,
Negative. Something negative.
something good.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
Negative for me.
hopelessly flawed, something negative.
Yeah.
Revel in, that means cherish, enjoy, being happy,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So this is again a positive thing, right? Why I pointed out these things, because such questions, such words, they give you some very useful hints sometimes. Okay, please focus on that.
Okay.
Like if you see in the previous example, we saw, the example we did about uh, language. We talked about different view. You
Okay.
remember that? Okay. Now answer the questions. What is the writer's purpose in the paragraph? There are A to D, four options.
So B,
B, okay,
B for boy.
B for ball, right?
Okay. I think it's C.
Mm-hmm.
C.
Okay.
C.
Okay. Can you tell me, Abdurrahman, which sentence or which word in this passage uh, gave a hint that he's trying to persuade us? He's trying to convince us.
Okay.
There was no such word.
Okay.
Okay. So this whole
Maybe
passage talks. Sorry, to
I'll try
suggest.
A then.
Okay, then which thing suggests that a scientist must or they should?
Oh, sir.
This is B actually. You see, the last line this says that, well, even though actual methodology was flawless, it was
Okay.
flawed, but still people just ignored or suspend our belief, our disbelief, and reveal the return of dinosaurs. We enjoyed it.
Okay.
Here again, uh, to bring dinosaurs back to life. This is again, that was the main reason. The first sentence is telling you,
Okay.
like the first sentence is giving you a purpose, and then rest is the explanation of it. That why it was a successful movie. It was a successful movie because it gave a possible or plausible way of bringing the dinosaurs back to life.
Okay.
Okay, so that is why people enjoyed this thing, and that is why people choose to believe the improbable in order to be entertained. Okay, what about number two?
D, sir.
Again B.
D for doctor, yes. D.
D for doctor. Okay.